So if we want to start from the beginning, the wet on wet technique is the most important in watercolor. I will take idea from internet. Just in this case, I usually take my picture as reference. But this is a good spot, this is a good picture where you can see the sun throughout the branches of a wood. Never ever paint everything cold or everything warm. Cold color means all the blues, and the cold also means violet, also means quinacridone red. This is a cold red. Instead, all the warm color are orange, yellow, red. All the browns are cold, are warm. So for instance, typical mixture will be ultramarine, burnt sienna. Back to our subject. This is too cold. I duplicate the photo, and then with the copy I will do a modification in order to change the temperature of my picture. So now it's warm, okay? Now we have two pictures when you can see colder and then warmer. Let's take as a reference both two. I start watching at this. Well, our material: tape, sponge, water, spray, and rough paper. 300 grams square meter paper. So I would like to do a square small painting. So let's define our limit using the tape. Take in mind that another trick is to save a small portion of the paper, the same paper you're going to use for your painting, because you're going to make tests, okay? Then we wet everything here. Then choose our brushes. Mop brush, different kinds of mop brush. Then we have a good point brush, 1, 2, and that's it. If you want to know more about the palette, the colors, paper type, and brushes, let's have a look of another video I just released. Wet on wet means that you must work on the wet surface. This is a way to do this. Or you wet your brush and you do this. A problem for beginners: sometimes they are in panic watching slowly the paper while they are working, creating some deformation that they say doesn't allow them to continue painting. That's not true. We can paint. The only problem will be that the straight line will be deformed. Well, we don't want that. So we solve the problem in different ways. I'll publish in a while another video explaining how to solve the problem of the deformed wet paper. But let's continue our work. I'm not doing any draw. If you want to add a drawing after you wet your paper, it's not a good idea. Watching other videos, you can appreciate how important the drawing and the design of your watercolor before you start painting. But it's just an exercise. So I start putting some color here. The cool colors appear in the background, far from your eye, okay? Instead, in the foreground, you will have warm colors. The reason is due to the atmosphere. The thickness of the atmosphere acts as a filter, so the far things will appear as blue. So far leaves will be blue. Leaves, of course, are not blue, but we are creating an harmony between warm and cold colors. When you mix rose sienna and cobalt blue, the result is green. Now the paper is almost dry. You can't re-wet the paper using just the brush. So the only way is to spray some water. And then start again your work. And now I squeeze my brush and I put some green or yellow color here. Why start so simple? Well, in watercolor you must always start simple because of the complexity of the watercolor techniques. Just a bit of water, no more water now, okay? If you're not happy with the edges, just clean your brush and use the sponge. Boom, 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 boom. You dry up a little bit this, and then it's ready to be used. Maintain this part white. White in watercolor means just the blank of the paper. Well, the question usually is, Manuele, what we are doing now? We are just playing, we are losing our time. No, we are preparing the background for the next level. In a second video, you will see how to complete with the second layer of painting using the wet on dry technique. So if you want to check how the painting looks when it's completed, just have a look of the following video. Now I squeeze again the brush, and then I pick up just pigment from the palette. I clean this part, I take the pigment out, creating a circle. And that's the last trick for today. Now I'm using Viridian green. And that's it. Probably was too long, too boring, but it's a necessary class to do for the beginners. So now you know the technique, apply this, do a lot of wet on wet exercises. Next step will be wet on dry technique, which is the following video. Bye bye, have a good time.